We're excited to bring you guys, our partners, an update from Africa via video. It's been about a month or two since we've done this, so we just want to say thank you to all you guys out there who pray for us, who partner with us financially. We couldn't do it without you. We're excited to give you an update. We've been here we're right at a year now. So May next month will be a year. We moved here May 2018, and just a lot has happened in just a short period of time. But not only here in Burundi, but also in our other countries in Africa where we have works. After leaving Malawi last year, they planted out again and planted church number 6 there in Malawi. Our church in Congo, Pastor Wilonja, has just planted or is in the works planting another church in another city called Kalemi. He's actually in Lubumbashi, he has 2 churches there. And they also have a church in Uvira, that's all in Congo. And now they're wanting to plant in Kalemi, which is
where we started
30 plus years ago, 1987, working with the Hagemeyer. So our spiritual son has sent a spiritual son to plant a church there. That'll give us 4 churches in Congo. So a lot is happening, even since leaving Malawi just a year ago. Not just in Burundi, but in other places in Africa we have works. My wife is going to share some things with you about education.
Well, we've been having a thrust. We feel like this next 20 or so years of our ministry, what God's called us to do, is a lot of it is going to center around education and even dovetailing with our church planting efforts. And we've got a school, as you already know, if you follow us at all online. We have a preschool in Malawi already that's been going for a good 4 or 5 years. And we have 60 students in that preschool. It meets at the same place where the feeding site is. And we have another primary school coming up on the main property in this capital city of Lilongwe. We had 2 40-foot containers that were donated by Hand of Hope, Joyce Myers Ministries Missions Branch, that are now being refurbished, just about done, to start a primary school on the site, which will eventually turn into a secondary school, thanks to the efforts of a group of women in our home church, fundraising, Yolanda Kamhi and Perlene Thomas and different ones, too many to count. We've been able to raise funds they were able to raise funds for equipping our schools and get our first year of curriculum for that school in Lilongwe. Another school is in the works to open in Blantyre, where we planted a church just a few years ago. And now here in Bujumbura, we have plans not only to start a primary school in the coming few years, but more, I would say, you can't say more sooner. Sooner than that, we're going to be starting an Academy of Leadership that will work with our church planting efforts. And in that, we're going to be starting English classes. As Bujumbura is now part of the East African community, an English emphasis has been brought into the country. And so starting in the month of May, we will be holding live English classes, beginner classes. We're very far from it being very fluently spoken in the city or country, but there's a definite push towards it. We see within the next 10 years or so, English being one of the main languages here. So we're getting ahead of the wave.
Along with Swahili,
French, and Kirundi. They try to say all those real fast. So we're getting ahead of the wave, preparing our people. We will be teaching at the Academy of Leadership mostly through the internet, because our academy will be teaching quarterly. Our classes will be run every 3 months. And the way that we'll be teaching our people is having them come for 2 weeks per quarter, and the teaching will be in English, either live, but mostly probably with our teachers being broadcast in from overseas, because not everybody can come here for 2 weeks a quarter. But a lot of people can be involved by teaching via, we're probably going to use the service called Zoom. So if you wanted to get involved somehow, maybe admissions, you don't know where to start, maybe helping us teach an English class online, that might be your in. So there's so many things happening that we just need to travel to bring, more than a give 5-minute update, to give people updates on what's happening, raising an awareness, raising an awareness within our partners and new people that we're going to meet about things such as something that's so new it's not even been printed on the press or anywhere nearby the press, is there's a strong possibility, a likelihood that we'll be starting a school feeding program in the month of May, maybe middle of May, here in Bujumbura, where we would be feeding in a school. And we hope to multiply those efforts, and that would give us an in to start our own school.
So having said all that, we are about to travel later this year. We're leaving here August the 16th. We'll be in Europe for 2 weeks, And then at the end of August, we'll arrive in the States. And we'll be there through about mid-November. I think our schedule is having us leave November the 11th, putting us back here in Bujumbura November the 13th. And so often people ask us, what are your needs? And we're always kind of reluctant. We don't like talking a lot about that.
We're not good about that.
But since some of you have asked, and this is a pressing need right now, is the funds to travel. It's not cheap, as most of you know, to travel internationally. So about half.
Yeah, we don't do it every year,
No.
every 2 years, because it's so expensive.
And we've raised about half, so we need about the other half, right? If we've raised one half, we need the other half. And so if you're interested in helping us with that, the best way to give would be to give online.
There's going to be a donate button at the bottom of our shout out here, about bottom of the newsletter. It says donate. It'll take you to Africa and Beyond's little donate page, and there'll be just a little place where you can click choose, a drop down menu. You can choose either Africa General, Africa Schools, or Travel. So click on Travel, and it'll go directly into the travel account.
And so in advance, we want to appreciate those who could partner with us in that effort. But we'll be in the States, and we really would love to catch up with some of you folks. If not all of you, but of course our time is limited. But really, we want to connect with churches and ministries and individuals, even if it's for service. If somebody is interested in a service, we could maybe make arrangements to be with you and your church on a weekend.
Or a cup of coffee.
Or even just a meal or a cup of coffee. So we hope to connect with many of those we already know, and even connect hopefully with some other individuals, churches, and ministries that are new that the Lord would put us in connection with. So thank you for your time. Thank you for your prayers, praying and believing with us for divine appointments, divine connections, for protection and favors from travel, and for God's provision. Thank you.
Thank you.